Hello, morning everyone. Today is 13th of June 2026. It is Saturday and this is my tradition to make these videos like weekly videos, my progress, what I did through the week. Okay, we have a lot to talk about today because first of all, I had a finish. Second, I had a start. And if you remember, today I'm going to spin my mega wheel. And I know I explained to you it last time, but if anyone will just chime in and I will remind, I moved my mega wheel 1 week earlier just because next week, not the one which is upcoming, right? But after the 20th, after the next weekend, I would say, there will be a whole week with several holidays in it, and I have a couple of dedicated projects which I started on those sacral days, right? And I want to keep stitching them. So that's why I had to move my mega wheel, which is supposed to be like in a week of this upcoming week. So we are going to spin it and see what am I going to stitch for 4 days next week. Now, I want to start today with the finish. Okay, this, as you may see in front of you, it's Plum Street Samplers, Flag Flock, and Sheep Keep. So this one little, I didn't have this, but I just stitched it. I usually don't have, I don't have sewing machine. I would like to have a pillow, to make a pillow out of it. But again, I don't have sewing machine. I don't even have a backing fabric to stitch it by hand. So that's why all my projects in a closet. They just all hanging on a what you call it, the hanger. So or like little mill hills, they just like in one decent size, like little bag, I would say. Just keep them there. So this one probably will finish somewhere there too, until I will buy myself a sewing machine and we'll do something about it. I don't want to frame it. I don't want to make it into the frame, like put it into the frame. I just really want a pillow, even though it's a pretty big pillow, to be honest. Now, this particular project I am dedicating for 250th anniversary of United States independence, which will be 4th of July, and I'm extremely happy that I was able to finish it. So let me, oh, you know what, I forgot, I do have stats. Let me just pull the project and then I'll show you the finish. I just want to see, give you some numbers. Okay, let's take a look. This is how it looks like right now. After I washed it, I mean laundry, like washed it, right, and ironed it, when it's ironed, it looks way much better. Even when, usually when I stitch it, take it off the hoop, I'm not do any ironing on it. But after I did this iron, it looks so much different than it just off the hoop. I'm so in love of it. It's looking so beautiful. Let me give you some numbers. So total amount of stitches here is 5,510. It has back stitch, long stitch, quarter stitches, and of course cross stitches. And it took me 8 days in total to finish it. Granted, I did start it on the 4th of July last year, and I finished it on 10th of June this year. So pretty much, it stretched over the year, but in general, it took me 8 days during the whole year to stitch it on and off. Usually I stitched it last year during the summer, and of course this year during the summer too, because 4th of July is a summer project, right? So the least, okay, I am stitching on 32 count. I'm sorry, I stitched on 36 count. I was surprised seeing that. Trying to remember, I think it was a 36 count smoke blue Edinburgh. Give me a second, I'm going to take a look. I think I have that name. I do remember that it was some kind of a Edinburgh. I think it has some smoke word in it. Give me a second, guys. I am at my computer looking into my Excel spreadsheet, and because I thought I was ready to tell you about this project, but apparently I'm not. Yes, 36 count smoke blue Edinburgh linen. So yeah, not quite the fabric, not quite what it called for. I didn't. I think fabric calls like for 32 count. Give me a second. I was just in a different room, so now I'm moving back and forth. Of course I'm not ready. Let me see. No, it actually asks for 36 count country mocha, but I found out that the white sheep is a little bit ghosting on the picture and just like disappearing. And these little cuts, this cut you will usually, you know, when you go to 123 Stitch and you will buy like the smallest cut which they offer, like 9 by 13 inches, like something that nature, you know, like the tiniest one. So this is the cut. I have quite a bit of these cuts because I had a project, and at some point we will look at that project this summer. I was trying to find a blue color, but this is 36 and that one needed like 32. Anyway, I was trying to find some specific color for whatever project, and just because you cannot buy a like binder with samplers of the fabric to understand how it looks like, I was buying these smallest cuts, but now I have a ton of them and I'm like, okay, I don't want them just to lay around. I would rather use them somewhere. Yes, I understand that I'm not going to have them as a collection of cuts as a sample, right? But I decided that, you know what, I will have a project on it. I have my I recorded this information in Excel spreadsheet. If somewhere in the future my eye will lay on the project and I will find out that the fabric is beautiful, but I wouldn't remember the fabric, of course I wouldn't, like let's say 10 years down the road, I can go into my Excel spreadsheet, find the project and see at which fabric I stitched. And if that fabric still will be in production, I will be able to buy it. So that's why I decided to not save these and just stitch something on it. And I really like this color. I think that the color of this fabric is perfect for this project. That's in my opinion. I made some mistakes in here. Okay, the most unpleasant part to stitch were these stars. I just simply could not figure out how to secure the thread behind when you start and when you finish. So this is how it looks at the back. And looking at the back, I can tell that all sheeps were stitched with DMC. And Wickstay Works I used only for the pineapple basket and the star, like the yellow one. It does use, let me see how many, 1, 2, I think two Wickstay Works. No, I think Whiskey is also Wickstay Work. Driftwood. Some of them, well, there is more Wickstay Works. Now I see it, because when it says DMC, if it doesn't have DMC, it means it's Wickstay Works. And you can replace DMC with this number. And just because I'm not a big fan of Wickstay Works at all, I just don't like those floss. They are very dry. They're falling apart when you stitch with that. You need to do really, really short cuts of the fabric, of the floss. So it means like you constantly, the whole time you spend is just to secure the thread. The variegation on it is close to nothing. You don't see it. And yes, there are some colors, like this yellow one. It had a variegation, like you could see the variegation with the naked eye. So I decided, you know, if I can see variegation, I'll try to use that just to see how it's going to play out on a project, right? But if I don't see variegation, I'm like, what's the point to spend? Because Weeks That Works, they cost more than DMC. I'm like, what's the point to spend your money on the Weeks That Works if variegation is not that big? And I want to show you an example of what I'm talking about. So if we will take, let's take this red. Oh my gosh, my neighbors. My whole floor is shaking. I hope it doesn't show on a camera. My neighbors downstairs, I don't know what they are doing. So if you will take a look at these two, right? If you look at the darker one, you see the variegation. There is some lighter colors, darker ones. But if you look at the red one, you're just like, is there a variegation? Is this a solid one? There is there a variegation? Let me see. Oh, maybe I'm too blind. Maybe there is no. No, I think there is some variegation. It goes into red, into a little bit lighter red, maybe. So that's what I'm saying, right? I'm like, what's the point to use some Weeks That Works if you don't see variegation? I staged cottage garden reindeer. I used all floss based on a key, and I really dislike the result. Not only that, the preview is extremely photoshopped and you are not going to get what you see. Like you will get totally opposite shade of what you see on the preview. But some colors which you have to use their Weeks That Works, they don't have variegation. Like this white one also. Do you see a bluish tint in there? You don't, because or this one too, like you don't see it. It's just like it's there, but you can see it only under a certain angle, only if you will bunch up a lot of floss just to, oh, there is some shades. So why pay more? So all my shapes are DMC. And as I told you, like that yellow, I saw variegation. I used it, great. The rest is DMC. Also, I changed a color for these stars. I don't remember what was the number in the key, but I do remember that number was the color of the fabric. Like one, it would be like color on color. So it will be like, you will never see these little flowers or stars. So I took one shade darker just to make sure that it's there. I really didn't want them to pop too much. I want them to be a little bit more translucent, let's say, right? Kind of going into the fabric slightly color-wise, right? But I also didn't want end up with only white squares and that's it. I like it. I like it how I came up. I just don't remember the number I used. Seriously, guys, I need to take a look in Saga, because I did make Saga for that. But right now my tablet is closed. Anyway, unfortunately, as far as I figure out, so here's the story regarding Plum Street. So when I started stitching it, actually when I was doing Saga for this, I found out that the key doesn't contain the number for the blue portion of the flag. It just doesn't. The number which was used for these flowers or like stars, it's based, when you open a chart, it's the same symbol is not used in the flag. So it's a different symbol in here, but the key is missing it. On a Facebook, when I asked a question, they told me that sometimes they give you a chart. They're like, there are two charts in this, like big one and some litsy bitsy one. They said, hey, look, there is a chart of the doggy. Maybe the doggy, this corgi or whomever is this, has a chart for the the color for the blue. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have a separate key. There is a chart for these two dogs with the flag, but symbols are exactly the same as in the key. So there is no separate key for that. They use the same colors as in here. So it's missing everywhere. It's not there. Also on the Facebook, other people said that, yeah, apparently Plum Street samplers have this problem. A lot of their charts usually will eventually miss some color, meaning like it will be on a design on a chart, but it's not going to be in the key. So it is going to miss from the key. And as far as a lot of people said that they give that feedback that usually it's a common problem for the Plum Street samplers. I don't know. This is my first Plum Street sampler, so we will see. But some people also said that they just pick up where the color they like. So what I did, I just went to my stash and I just took any blue which is similar to whatever is in here, because I like the preview version, right? And I tried just to put the color and see which one is the closest. Again, I don't remember which one I actually, you know what? Let me just open that saga for you and I can tell you which one I used. In case if you also liked it, I can tell you the number. It was 3809. So the 3809, that's the DMC color. That's the one which I used for the blue portion of the flag. But that's how it looks like. Now I'm really happy that I have something for the holiday. Yay! I made a mistake in... and I told you that last weekend. So this swirly branch which Eagle holds, so this right side is correct, but the left side here, I kind of missed on one thread, not one square, but one thread in a square. So I kind of put it like more one thread down. That forced me to move this star also slightly down too, because it was touching the branch. But some of the stars, I would be like, you know what, it is somewhere here, it is somewhere here. And looking on the what's interesting, looking on the preview, I can tell that the person who was stitching it, they really tried to stick it into the middle, while I was looking on the chart and tried to calculate where the star starts from, right? The nearby crosses. So they are all a little bit shifted to the right. So, but anyway, some of these stars, I'm like, even if I will miss a thread or whatnot, and I think some of these stars like that, they're not exactly aligned with the cross stitches borders. Like, you know, like usually it's just like somewhere random. You know, like who cares? No one is going to see. It is 36 count. It's not, even if it will be 14 count, no one is would like 28, right? I bet no one would be able to see that there is like a mistake in one thread and it's not aligned. So that's my result for the. Give me a second. I know I'm kind of moving around because I have some trash to throw away. Give me a second. Sorry guys, I know just because I'm thinking that I still need to do one more video and so much to tell you. Okay, let me just be done with this whatever thingamabobber, and we are going to move into the next. I'm going to show you my next progress. If you remember, the decision wheel for the week which I got gave me another project. Next one, the next project. Let me pause and I will bring it to the camera. It's just on a big frame. Ta-da! Okay, the next project is Golden Kite Slaget Ikage. I don't know. I call it Voyage. So this is how it looks like. Yeah, comparing with the preview, you can see that I added a little bit of brown. There was still sky here, which was not finished, and I will be honest guys, I finished it pretty fast, very fast. But when I moved into this portion of the ship, there was like a ton of single stitches. Pretty much the same as in the water. Now, I do know that I'm going to kind of like, how it is better to say? It's going to be not extremely pleasant portion of stitching, not because it's a shape and yeah, you should expect a lot of confetti in here. It's not because even of that. I told you guys that just because I'm almost done with the water, I still next to a horizon. Like on this side, on the left hand side, you may see, do you see? You probably, yeah. I still didn't finish the waterline and I didn't start the sky. So I'm still in here, needs like the least unpleasant portion to stitch, because the sky on its own, like here, even if you have that many colors, it is still way much easier to stitch. So I want to get rid of the difficult part as fast as possible. So usually I put in Saga, I will put my, and I told you that, I put my square, I select a square 3x4, and I will stitch within that square. And once I've fully filled that square with the stitches, then I move to the next portion. But when it came to this horizon line, I decided, you know what, I don't want to stretch my suffering for longer. So I did a little bit different. I kind of flipped it and I did 2x4. What I mean 2x4, it will be 2 like vertically and 4 horizontally, meaning like I'm concentrating on the horizon line just to finish it. But that being said, this particular block of shape falls into that 2 pieces. If I would have 3x4, all these colors I would be able to stitch way much further up, and I wouldn't have so many single stitches. But just because it's a very small tiny square, of course there is way much more single stitches of the color, because next one will be like in 15 or 20 squares away, right? Which I drag the floss that far, because trust me, if you made a mistake, it's impossible to pull it away, take it out. It's just like, trust me, it's impossible. It's just not, it just can't be undone. Cannot be undone by its own. And even if you're forced to undo some stitches, pretty much mission impossible. So that's why those single stitches, how does, but I'm trying to find a better word. My brain is like not working this morning. Yeah, I had a cup of coffee and I'm not working very well yet. That is why this single stitch, okay, I just park them. Let's move on. Now, what I was thinking when I was stitching this shape, I was like, you know what, I'm really disliking stitching this portion because it's a very small block, and that's why I have so many singles. Maybe I should switch like to a bigger block, and I'm like, yeah, that's okay, I will have more stitched in here in the middle, but next time I will just have to stitch sky. It will be super fast. But I'm just like looking at this side, I'm like, no, stick to the line and continue. Now, I don't know when I will be able to finish this line because it's already out for the summer. My decision wheel is not going to give me this anymore for the summer. And I don't have this project in my fall and winter wheels. I just don't have it. So it's either I'm done with it for the year or I will have it somewhere like mega decision wheel will tell me like, hey, why wouldn't you take this one? I didn't do a lot of stitches second day. The first stitch day I did a lot, but the second, because I was sitting on this horizon line and this shape, I was just like, I was so tired, my head started hurting. I'm like, no, I need to go to something easy. So, but that being said, we are going to move to my start for the for the week, which I so much enjoyed. And for now, it's an easy start. Yes, there will be some more complicated pieces, but in general, the project is not difficult. It is a very, very old project. I'm sorry, kit and project. So this is Design Works Vertical Rise. That's how it looks like. As I understood, they created a series of some designs for the Wild Wings Reserve, some national park, I don't know. I saw only this one. I don't know what are the rest. It is impossible to find this kit, I'm sorry. It is pretty much mission impossible because it is very, very old. And when I finally found it and bought it, it was not cheap, but I bought it because, man, I'm so in love with this. When I took out floss, I understood that I'm going to have a problem. And what I'm going to do right now, here's the thing, I'm going to show you how much I staged. But before that, I want to insert a video recording, which I did this week, because before I started the project, I wanted to show you the problem with the floss, right? Which was inside of the kit. And I still believe it was original kit. I don't believe that some other floss was put into it. But just because this is a design works, they don't, and very old project, I heard that in old kits, they wouldn't just they just dump floss like in the kit, and then you need to figure out, they don't have numbers there, they just have names, and then you need to figure out how to which color is what. So I'm going to insert it. You will take a look what was the problem, and after the insert of that little video, I'm going to show you my progress. Okay guys, this one is a little video insert regarding floss and my kind of problems which I have with the floss regarding this particular project. Hopefully by the time you are watching this little insert, I already decided with what I'm going to do and probably already started on a project. But this little insert, I want to save it for the historical reference, and hopefully if and when I will finish this project, I will create a separate video overview for the project. So this will be really helpful later for historical reference. But just because I am going to start this particular project, I need to decide which floss to use. I already showed you the preview of the project, how it's going to use, but there is a problem with the floss. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's the floss, okay? Let me see. I am going to show a little bit of a chart, but that's just a small portion of it. It's not going to help anything. You wouldn't be able to make the whole project out of it, because this is on 3 pages, 3 sheets of paper. So anyway, so what's the problem? The problem is the way how this brand put the floss on the organizer. As far as I understood, just because this, and maybe I already told you, so there may be some repeats in here, so my apologies, because I'm kind of filming it prior of starting the project. Anyway, I think this was a very old design where they would just put floss on the organizer without any consideration of which symbol is which floss color, or is it even going based on the new order. I heard about this design works old projects when people were complaining that that's what they do. It's kind of similar to Old Dimensions, the American version of it, when you have those hunks or bundles, when you need to separate to find out which floss is which color, and usually Dimensions will say, okay, this number has 5 strands and it's in a bundle number 1, so you're trying to find that particular color, let's say blue, right? Which one has 5 strands, so now you know what's that color, what number is that color. This is similar in here. It's not in bundles though, so that's why some of the colors is really difficult to identify what it is. And that's what I heard about this particular company, and I would say of their old kits. As far as I understood, new ones, they already started making it more smart, but what I heard is old ones. And let me show you what I'm talking about. As you may see, on the organizer, number 1 is white, black, then shades of gray, green, okay? Turn around, number 16, green, the end of the organizer, some gray, and version of blue. Let's take a look on the key, on the legend. First one say pale yellow, then it goes brown, then lilac. There is nothing like that, neither this way in the order of that place, neither this way nor this way, one or another. Now, can I find pale yellow in here? Pale yellow. Yes, I can. It's the only one color which is in here. There is no problem. Can I find lilac in here? Yes, I can. Technically, what's the problem? The problem comes to similar colors or colors which you're kind of surprised about. That's why sometimes I'm thinking maybe these are the wrong colors for the kitten, like wrong thread. I don't know. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So in parentheses here, it shows how many floss of this color is on the organizer. So I need to find them first, right? So I need to take all them out. Right now it's nice and pretty, and as I said, by the time you probably will watch me showing you my start, this will be already redone, or I don't know what exactly I'm going to do. So it says like there's 14, brown 2, lilac 1, and go on, go on, go on. Now, when I went to brown, and I'm like, okay, brown. What is brown here? What's brown here? What? This might be a brown, maybe. This may be a brown. Even though it's not quite, but you never know, right? But it says like brown, there are only two strands, right? Big ones. I found out that like white has 2, because that's what they said. I'm looking, what else has 2? Brown has 2, white has 2. So I found out that brown is actually this orange color. This is the brown. I would never guessed it, right? So it's really like, why is this brown? It's an orange, unless I'm colorblind and it's brown for you guys. But for me, it's pretty bright orange, I would say. I mean, like kind of bright, like it's orange. It's not anywhere close to brown. It's like orange is here, brown is to the other side of the river, right? It's like totally different shade. And I'm like, okay. Now, the problem comes actually when it goes to pale blue and light blue. Each of them is 23 not skeins, but flosses, right? Put on. And when I look at this, just because, again, it's not in the order. Remember, pale yellow is first, then brown, then lilac. Pale yellow and brown next to each other. Lilac is here on the other side of the cardboard. And I'm like, okay, what is pale blue and light blue? They has equal amount of floss. And it's not in bundles. It's not like, oh, in bundle 1, pale blue 23, and so I know I just need to find bundle 1, and I know which one there is pale blue, and bundle 2, let's say light blue. No, it's all in the same bundle, as you say. And I'm like, I understand that even if I will sort it out, I will end up with 2 colors with equal amount of floss. And I think at some point I calculated some of them don't have like whatever is written here, but maybe I just miscalculated because I didn't take them off the organizer. I might end up with these 2 colors, for example, because it says 23, and it seems like actually it says, yeah, 21 and 23 number. I have additional in here. So I assume, and they both have the most, 23 and 23, both of them, right? And blue has 22. So that's another topic. I like, you just need to go and find. So I assume that, let's pretend I will end up with these 2. So now I will have to figure out which one of them is pale blue or light blue. None of them are pale or light. They're all pretty intense, not intense colors, but more contrast colors to what pale you would say. I tried to go and search. I was thinking maybe this is CXC, and usually CXC, what they do, they dye their floss pretty much 99% close to the shades of DMC, meaning like you probably will find the same. They have some differences, but it's very, very close. So I'm going to show you an example, because I tried to search by DMC names, but it's really, really hard to identify, because these names are not DMC names. These names are not DMC names. Meaning like, even if you will try to find it, they're not there. Now, whole instruction, I took a look, and I'm going to show you in yellow example. There is nothing on all these pages here. There is like nothing. Oops, there is another instruction, like regular instruction, like this. There is no numbers. There is no like identification of what in the heck is that. You know, like conversion there, floss to DMC. So at least I may identify what is what. So for example, let's take this pale yellow, what it says in here, pale yellow. I went on one, I have a lot of floss DMCs which has pale yellow in their name. And all of these shades here are none of the one which is attached in here. So I'm going to show you closer, but what I'm trying to say, you may say, well, one of them should be pale yellow. They all have pale yellow word in them. The difference of them will be light pale yellow, light pale yellow, ultra light pale yellow. So you see, there are some additions to word pale yellow. The direct pale yellow is 744, which you see a big contrast. This is pale yellow, not ultra, not something else, just regular one. It's pretty bright. Then we go into like, I think this says light pale yellow, 745, it's still darker. Then I think we have like ultra light, it's different shade of yellow. There is some other type of yellow, I don't remember which kind of yellow is this. It's more white. So I cannot even find, because I was thinking, let me buy DMC based on the names, and then I will just, you know, like put next to each color to identify them, right? I cannot do even that. So from one side, there is another thing. I found Saga somewhere in the wilderness of the internet. And Saga is done in DMC. This is how it's going to look like. And it looks really cool. I really like colder version of this picture, not like very warm and sunny. I prefer a little bit more Alaska style, you know, like June, which is not extremely hot. It's still like chill. I mean, for me, it will be really cold, but for those who live in Alaska, definitely for you guys will be probably hot, but it looks a little bit more cooler side, right? And I really liked it. So I bought colors based on a key in here. There is a problem in here. One of the green colors using anchor, and that anchor number 246 is not, I don't know where to find. It's not on 1, 2, 3 stage. It's none of everywhere where I would go. That it's really hard to find that floss, that number. So now I was thinking, okay, which one will be that number out of all of this in here? I'm like, maybe I will do a mixed match, you know, like I will pull something from here and we'll use there. So that's why I was just like, I don't know. And so this is the DMC colors. It's just some of it. I have more skeins in the package. I just put them on just to see which one I still need to buy. So this number should be an anchor, and quite a bit of skeins, which I cannot find. So now I need to, I don't know, it's actually a green one. It's one of the greens. It's either this one, or this one. I don't know, probably this one, because it seems like I need a lot of it. It might be this one. So I'm debating, because I can technically pull. Yeah, none of this green. Maybe this green is more closer to 22. Close, but not exactly. Let me see, what about this one? So yeah, probably this one is the one which I'm missing. So just because on my organizer, I already put everything DMC, and I bought additional DMC for this project based on the Saga file I found, which I really like the preview of that. My issue right now, and why am I debating? I will return back to debating which floss to use, because I was as a beginning, I was like, I don't know which one to use. But then I decided, you know what? I like the DMC version of the preview in Saga. Let me just do everything based on that. But now I'm back to thinking using this one and figuring out these blues in here. Why did I return back to this floss again? Just because I have no clue what kind of floss is this. It might be CXC, but you saw there is pretty big difference, right? And usually CXC is very close shaded, but just because it's a very old kit, and in the past CXC was not extremely true to DMC colors, I was thinking just because, but it may not be CXC. I heard that Chinese in China, because when you touch it, it feels like CXC. It's not. It's definitely not DMC. I know it's not, because I already stitched some projects in CXC, so I know how they feel, how they look and feel. This looks more like CXC, but I heard that in China there are several brands of floss, and not all of them are CXC, some of them like different ones. And I don't know the different one. I know how the CXC feels. I don't know others. So just because I don't know what kind of floss is that, I'm thinking, okay, let's say I will use DMC. What will I do with this one? I understand, you see, I might end up using it in a long dog somewhere later in my life, if, right? Or similar to the long dog style brands like Ink Circles, etc., where you can utilize the different type of floss. But the question is, right now, I'm not planning on anything to start like that. Or do I have even those type of charts in my stash? No, I don't. I have none of those. Will I ever have? I don't know. And that's the problem. What if I would never have those type of charts, that this floss is not going to be used anywhere? So that's why I was kind of going back towards this palette to use this one and figure out something with these blues. Honestly, I just like, I have no clue which one will be pale blue, because they both bluish, because again, one of them says pale blue, another says light blue. None of them says turquoise, like for example these ones, right? More Laguna style, etc. They all can be blue, even though this is more like turquoise, but this may be like pale blue. Maybe this is light blue again, and that's where I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Hopefully I really want to start this project, and hopefully by the time you will see this, I already decided what to do. But anyway, that's my problem with the floss. That's what and I actually, the last thing which I want to add before I finish this little insert is, I was kind of thinking if maybe I should do one with this floss, and if I'm not liking, do with DMC, or vice versa, right? Stitch one with DMC, see how it looks like, and maybe do another one with this one. The problem with that idea is that I usually don't like to stitch the same stuff again. I have so much stuff to stitch. Why do I need two killer whales designs, right? So I need to really figure out what I want to do in my life with this and go on with it. I don't know. So that will be it for this insert. Let's go back to the main video. So now you understand my debates and problem. So let me show you. I actually ended up to use the original floss, which was in here. I'm going to show you what I did, and the reason why I explained the reason why I did that insert, because like it was really pretty, and now everything is not that pretty looking, like normal, like work in progress. Yeah, I decided to stick with the original floss. I made my best guess to sort it out. And I'm going to explain to you some stuff. Because you remember I told you there is a problem with two colors. They have exactly the same amount of floss added, like 23 each of them, and just because the colors are not intuitive, it's really hard to say which one is pale blue and which one is light whatever blue, right? So first of all, I want to mention that inside was included Ida 14. I don't know what's the brand, just Aida 14. I usually save this type of fabric because there are some projects which are full coverage. And when it is a full coverage, I prefer to use Aida because it's easy to stitch on it and no one will see, like crosses look exactly the same as on 28 count or Aida, but maybe Aida will be more uniform and less, but for the full coverages, I use Ida. I just don't worry about it. So this was included in the project. It's pretty big. I replaced, it's like long, you see, it's very long, it's very narrow and very long. So I replaced this one with 28 count Lugana of, I think it's off-white, not quite white. Let me show you how much I stitched. And you may say, so why did you replace? It looks like full coverage. It's not. This project is not a full coverage. Like the top portion of it, only like the color which you see, excluding white, all this grayish, bluish, that's what you stitched. The rest of the white is not stitched. First, I wanted to take, maybe I should take a pearlescent color, color fabric, because, it has snow, so it's nice to be sparkly, right? Water can be sparkly too, but I decided that to have sparkles in here, it's not winter, right? It looks more like June. I really wanted to start this project last June. I don't know, as I said, it does look like Alaska June, and I have this association, right, with this month. I don't know why exactly with the June month. So I decided I need to start it during this month. Last year I wanted to start it, but I don't remember. I either didn't have Saga on it, or I was deciding something with the colors. I was so kind of like my spinning wheel was giving me some projects which I could not stitch. I just didn't start it last year, so I decided today is the year. And instead of, just because I finished made a finish for my project Plum Street, I was like, you know what, instead of taking some other project, I would rather start stuff, because I prefer to have a lot of starts. This is my investment in future, because it means like at some point I will have a breaking year, when after that certain whatever how many years, right? After that, every single year, I will have a lot of finishes, every single year. But until that breaking point, I need to accumulate that many projects, right? So to have like, once the breaking point appear, then I will be enjoying like a year, a finish, and not one, and maybe like 10 or 12. Of course, it's 10 or 12, right? But still, maybe 5, 6, 7 finishes a year. It is still, like it warms your heart that you have so many finishes, because right now at this point it's almost middle of June. I have only 2 finishes. I have Aurora Cabin, I finished this winter, and I have Plum Street Sampler, like 2 finishes. And I cannot say that I have any other projects right now. No, I do have one more project which I finished this year, but I was like, what, only 3 finishes? I know that people who stitch full coverages, they have a lot of like patience, meaning like they are okay to not see a finish for decades, not a single finish, right? They are okay with that. And I have full coverages. I love them, but I am a person who also wants to kind of dilute it with some achievements, right? If you have a small project, you stitched it, you finished it, you have kind of like energy boost to sit down to your full coverage and put way much more progress, because you have this like you see some results happening in your cross stitching, and it's not like dragging forever. So that's why I switched from full coverages to mix. I'm not canceling full coverages. I'm still having several charts I need to keep up, full coverages, and I want to start them, but I like to mix. Now, this particular project, I made saga on it, and so far it's not difficult. It's a really block stitching. I was enjoying stitching that water. I like stitch blue colors. I know a lot of people saying they don't, but I do. I think I'm less happy to stitch with really like bleak and pale colors, like tan colors, like very, very light, not even tan, but you know, like 50 Shades of Gray. Yeah, that one, I would say. 50 Shades of White. Swamp colors, not my favorite. Sometimes I can get really tired of green colors pretty fast. I don't mind, but I do get tired of green colors. But with blue colors, I feel like I will never get tired stitching them, and I want more projects which have more blue in it. But anyway, let me show you what I did with my card. So I reorganized floss based on how it's going in the list. So it was saying pale yellow first, then brown, yes, this orange called brown, and so forth. Now, when it came to these two colors, this is the one which was saying pale blue and light blue. Each of them has 23 floss per color, so you cannot really define which one is pale blue or light blue, right? Because none of them pale blue, none of them light blue. And like, for example, this example, it says it's brown, and you understand this doesn't look brown whatsoever. So you may think that this is pale blue, but maybe the company who was creating this chart decided that this will be a pale blue, right? So what I did, I considered pale blue this one and light blue this one. When I went and searched, because I showed you guys that they have just names in here, they don't have numbers, GMC numbers. So when I search by pale blue and light blue words, it will show me something similar to this, to blue. But when I search by the French name, blue clay, I don't know how you pronounce this one. I don't know French whatsoever. I just maybe know like bonjour, merci, something that nature, and that's it. Maybe one or two more words, but that's it. So I searched by the French word, and what's interesting, when you search by French, that light blue, right? It actually gave me like images. One of them was a little bit closer, like a mix with like closer to this, like blue is greenish, like this color. Way much more pale than this, not that contrast. It was way much more bleak color. But I saw that when you search by French name, both of them, pale blue will be, am I saying you? Yeah, pale blue will be really like in a blue shade, while light blue will be more in a greenish like shade. Even though, and all of them were even on French, using French words, they still would be closer to the blue, but they would have some tint of greenish. So I decided that, okay, so probably this is light blue and this is pale blue. So I decided to go with that, and I decided to use original floss just because, as I said, first of all, I with this color, right? I don't know what to do with that. And then if I will leave all this floss, I need to utilize them somewhere, and not knowing their numbers, names, like what, then I'm not very creative when it comes to figuring out which color to use, right? I like when I was told like, this is the color you use. It's easy. You don't have, when I'm stitching, I don't want to sit and break my brain like, am I stitching it with stem stitch or split stitch or this stitch or that stitch? Even though those designs are beautiful, right? When people do it, they're just gorgeous. But when it comes to me, my head hurts to make those type of decisions, and I just want to not think about it. So that's why the same, I don't want to think about where to utilize this floss later. I'll just like, I'm going to use it. I reorganized it based, and of course I did additional floss which was given. I also put numbers which is which. So even though you can pretty much see the difference because it's such a different color, but I had to cut this in half. Like one strand I had to cut in half because it does fall apart. Even though I do like the length of one strand because you can stitch way much more, but it just start falling apart. So I'm like, just let me cut. And what's interesting, I forgot to tell you guys, so there is this portion of the chart, it says DMC, and if you take the on touch, I can tell these are DMC. All this like grayish black colors, these are DMC comparing to when you touch these. They feel maybe feel different, I don't know. But and one of the reasons I'm saying this is an old kit, because this gray, they were like all over the place, right? So I had to take it out and just to figure out which gray is which. So I have a DMC color coding the palette book with the floss in it, and they have DMC numbers in that key. And when and actually all of those DMC numbers I even have in my stash on my own, right, for other projects. And some of them, especially this color, I think it's 646, right, or 47, 646. I have this one in my stash. So when I took it from my stash, and just to make sure am I correct with the number, I put it together next to each other. They were different colors. They were different colors. This is more greenish and darker than the one which currently DMC produces. And I know old DMC is very, very old one. They are having a little bit different like lot number, different color and shade. So that's why when you guys kitting up a project, just buy all necessary floss immediately for your project, because if you will do it slowly later, you will be really unpleasantly surprised seeing the same number, different shades, and then you need to figure out what to do. I already had it with my dimensions, which I was stitching. It was so dimensions not always have kits, but they also have leaflets, and it's a project from the leaflet, and the kit there in DMC and Anchor. So DMC and Anchor, they don't have their own dimensions numbers. And I stitched one. There was one like 400, I don't know, 15 or 17 color. I had some leftovers. I stitched something with that number based on a chart. I saw that I don't have that color anymore, so on 1 2 3 stitch I ordered the same number, and what came was a different shade. Both were DMC, different shades. So I had to undo what I already stitched just because it was visible that is a different shade. Yesterday I was sitting, I have some more projects which I really want to start, kitting up projects, right? And there was 800 DMC 800 for one of them. And I saw that I have 2 different shades of 800 from DMC, and I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't start the project yet. But now I'm like, okay, I have left over, which is darker, like 3 strands left from the whole thing. And I'm like, I need to figure out where to use that because the whatever I bought right now is totally different shade. So that's why, guys, bite the bullet, and immediately I know it's more expensive, but it's better to kit it up together with the floss. Do not wait, because you will be really disappointed and surprised with the colors. But anyway, so that's about the floss, what I decided, and how I figure, I hope I figure out which blue is which. But I was stitching with it, and to be honest, that greenish turquoise color, azure color of light blue. I thought it will be like too bright and visible, like will be like off, but it's not. It blends pretty well with the rest of the colors. I don't know if I identified correctly, but it is what it is. I'm not going to undo anything. I cut in half a floss because it's falling apart. And yes, I have to stitch with the shorter one, but at least it's holding together. So, and it will be long. It's narrow, but it's long. And what's interesting, guys, I'm actually already stitched one in another corner. I went from one corner to another, so now I'm just going to go up. That's like, let's see, it is so narrow. Okay, this is for my start. Now let me take a look. As I said, what are we going to do this week? We are going to spin, or I'm going to spin a mega wheel, and mega wheel is going to tell me which particular project am I going to stitch for 4 days next week. So let me get my decision wheel, and we are going to take a look what's to come. Oh, speaking of a devil, guys, at the beginning when I was showing you Plum Street Sampler, and I kind of mentioned the color of fabric which I was searching for the project, but then I kind of stumbled up, like, wait a minute, I needed 32 count, but that one is 36 count, you know, like maybe I was blah, blah, blah. So which project actually I was mentioning? It was Merezhka, the Daydream, no, just Daydreaming without the. It looks like this, a beautiful fox. Look at that. Oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. Or he, I don't know. For me, it's a she. Usually everything for me is a he, but sometimes it's obvious that it's a she. This one is not obvious, but it looks like a she. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm pretty happy. It's also one of my old projects. I do stitch it. Give me a second. Oh, I need to tighten it a little bit to make it tighter. Oh, I probably will have to. Oh no, I have to roll. Okay, I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm stitching it this way, turned wise, but I'll try to show you. I may push the. Yeah, give me a second. It doesn't fit. Okay. Last time I was showing it when I was doing like my yearly overview, so that's why I kind of made it like wider so you can see how much I already stitched, but I usually roll it up and I have a small window, so for my hands it will be more comfortable to stitch. So right now you see it in a full-blown picture. Beautiful. I'm doing backstitch as I go. You pretty much don't see it, but it has quite a bit of a backstitch. There is quite a bit of backstitch in the leaves, flowers in here, and Fox itself has white backstitch. This project, as far as I remember, where is it? I think it has, I know it has 4 strands. I don't remember if it has 3 strands. It had 16 count Ada, like ivory, but I replaced it. I didn't want sky in big squares, so I replaced it to 32 Joblin ivory, the same color. I was trying to see like a little bit like pale, extremely pale blue, as you kind of may think it's pale blue here on the picture, but the fabric is ivory. And ivory is, let's be honest, more tan yellow color than blue. I could not find the color which I needed, and I was buying those shortcuts. Any type of pale blue, knowing that you have this green grass here, it kind of makes the blue darker, and instead of hot summer day, it looks like pretty much a stormy day, like it's about to get stormy and rainy. You are not going to lay in dirt like that before that weather, right? So I didn't want to make it a stormy day. Where's the key? I want to tell you how much how many strands is in here. I'm trying to find it. Give me a second, guys. What's going on with the chart? Usually they have it on the chart. Yeah. So 2 strands, two. There was one in 4 strands. I do remember that. Cross stitch. Ay. The half stitches were, there is full stitch. Yeah, so yeah, there is 3 strand, 4 strand, half stitches. It's actually in half stitches. There are blends in here. There is blend with 3 strands, meaning like 2 of one color and 1 of another. And it's pretty much, a lot of them are in, oh my gosh, there is a backstitch 3 ply, really? Where? Anyway, I just saw it. Anyway, it's not the easiest project. I already stitched 1 mereshka in my life. Did I stitch 1 or 2? No, I think it was only 1, and I love it. That one was easy one. This one, of course, a little bit more difficult. Half stitches are in grass, and pretty much the background of the grass, not the foreground, which like more flowers, leaves, etc., but actually everything what you see, like the top portion of the picture, all of this is half stitch. 4 strand or 3 strand. I hate to stitch that many plies, and plus when you stitch like not on Aida with that many plies, it's like distorts your, it actually have really good, usually it does distort your stitches. They don't look that pretty, but just because this is Jobelan and I have it pretty tight, I actually don't have issues with distortion of my stitches. I have more issues with them laying flat, or let's say like pretty. Like they usually try to create their own mountain ridges, which then you need to pull those, even out those stitches, which that's what usually pisses me off. But I try to finish cross stitches before I do half stitches, because exactly on this project, when I was stitching in this side here where you see thistle, it mixes with full crosses and half crosses, and sometimes I will use like start stitching half crosses because there is like block stitching of one color quite a bit, and then I will start filling in with full crosses. Full crosses will distort my half crosses, and I was really like getting mad in here trying to make those half crosses still look nice, because my full crosses somehow just, I don't know. After this experience, I decided that in my personal hands, if I stitch, first I will do full crosses, and after that I will do half crosses. So what's is coming for 4 days? You know what? Looking at this project last year in May, when I was spinning Mega Wheel, end of May, it gave me this project, and I had to spend 5 days on it, okay? Then, of course, during the summer, I took it one more time. I think I did. And now another mega wheel now gives me it again. Now I'm going to sit 4 days with it, but I am going to add a little bit more. Of course, next time when you're going to see it next week, I need to change this frame, so to make a shorter window for myself. So I'm going to stitch pretty much focused on the fox, because again, half stitches here I need to do after I'm done with like this portion of the fox. So a little bit of her face will go, and so that's why I don't believe I will do any half stitches. We will see. Maybe there are some colors which, because I stitch like this, right, from bottom to top, maybe some colors will go from her ear to middle of in the sky. This is the first ear, the bottom ear, right? Like if that's the case, I may do it. But other than that, I'm not going to touch half stitches if I still will end up doing cross stitches around them. There are some exceptions. If it is not a very small portion of half stitches, I need to finish the floss, for example, I can do that before I do full crosses. But I am trying to do my best to do full crosses before half stitches. And I'm looking forward to do this. Here will be the grass, flowers. Yeah, I'm in the yellow flowers, blue flowers. Of course, it's a little bit more tedious stitching, but it's so pretty. By the way, I saw Chinese, the fake project, like Chinese one, like this. There is a difference. They made some difference. It actually looks pretty too. They changed these flowers. And I don't know, they put some other flowers like white, big, they look like daisies. Maybe they were daisies or campanula. So I don't know. There was some flowers, they were big, like white-ish, pinkish, I think. I don't remember. Right now, I don't remember. I think I saw it like 2 years ago. And like Chinese knockoff, right? But I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, they decided to spin off their own version. I mean, like, I bet they probably took everything from the Mereshka and they just like plop on top their own flowers. So no one is going to claim their copyrights for their project. So I bet everything else is the same from Mereshka except those flowers. But even with those flowers, it looked pretty nice. So if you will, this is Mereshka. If you will look at this Daydreaming, if you like it, search by that. And it has yellow, I don't know what's the yellow flower. A blue flower is probably Forget-Me-Not and Thistle. No, yeah, it is Thistle. I thought maybe it's a clove, but no, it's it more Thistle, because I see the shape of the bud and leaves. Clover doesn't look like that. So, but if you see with the big white flowers, that's not Mereshka. Just letting you know. So I am really happy. I really, when I sit down to stitch this one, it doesn't go slow. It goes pretty fast. And every time I do it, I'm like, man, I can finish it. But every time I have to switch to a different project then, and I mean, I'm not getting it anymore. So it lasts. It's a pretty long project, but it will be extremely beautiful. Okay, I think that will be it for today. I have nothing else to show you, nothing else to talk about with Pan, the mega wheel, semi-finished, semi-star. Yeah, I think I'm good. Are you? I'm going to be finishing this video. I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully you are also looking forward to see my progress here. And until next weekend, guys, see you. Bye-bye.